Good evening to you in Macedonia, Mr. Joska. It is a pleasure to see you again and finally share our findings with you. As agreed on in our SOW, our team composed of Lisa, Katerina, Perrine, Christian, Greg, and myself, Jan, has been working intensively for the 2 months to identify root cause and provide you with recommendations on how to improve Agro Unicom's inventory management system. We'll start off with giving you a short overview about the root causes that we have identified as being crucial for the challenges that Agro Unicom is currently experiencing. Afterwards, we will share our findings regarding global inventory management trends, which are suitable for your company, as well as an analysis of Agro Unicom's current competitive landscape. Subsequently, we introduce you to our final solution that we consider as suitable and essential in order for Agro Unicom to not only survive, but thrive in the future. Lastly, we'll touch upon some KPIs that will assist in measuring our success and make sure it meets your expectations. Now, let me hand it over to my colleague Christian to develop on the root causes.
Thank you, Jan. So since the moment you approached us with a proposed problem, our team has been tirelessly working to distinguish the root causes behind the inefficiencies plaguing your inventory management operations. After carefully analyzing all of the information at our disposal, our team distinguished 4 essential root causes for inefficient inventory operations. So firstly, we discovered that your warehouse picking process consists of an inefficient picking methodology. This means that while you have 3 designated pickers to fulfill an order, they're operating on a pick one item at a time basis. While this is a good strategy for smaller warehouses, your company has certainly outgrown it and requires a more up-to-date method at scale. Secondly, our team identified that the layout in your warehouse has strong potential for improvement, which when combined with the outdated picking methodology, results in punishing inefficiency in inventory management. Pickers typically spend a lot of dead time, which is approximately 60% of their productive hours, walking around the warehouse in between those picks. Thirdly, speaking from personal experience and conducting careful research and consulting with various industry professionals, we concluded that even though you're currently utilizing your own personalized operational system, which is working properly and satisfy your company's current needs, it still slightly falls behind the benchmark of services in the industry. Therefore, we strongly believe that it has significant potential for improvement, which will significantly aid your inventory management efficiency. Finally, we have verified your observations. Based on our interviews and conducted research, we have discovered considerable negligence of the manual labor, which is assigned for your company's warehouse and inventory management. The employees are indifferent towards their work and not taking any initiatives nor responsibilities, while inefficiently conducting their assigned tasks. And we are fearing that your current loss of around 15,000 euros on a yearly basis can significantly increase in the future. To validate and have a guideline as to how you can solve these root causes, we identified opportunities for innovation by looking at current trends in inventory management.
So C-Rocket has therefore first identified the automation of AI as a trend, not only enabling better inventory, decreasing stock discrepancies, and improving demand forecasting, but also allows companies to react quickly with high accuracy. While implementing AI, there is often the misperception of laying off staff. One trend is to make sure employees get the necessary training and resources to work hand in hand with the rising number of automation technologies for warehouse inventory management. Transparency is another upcoming trend as it gives all employees access to any data at any given time and therefore helps better forecasting demand and avoid companies from running out of stock. The most interesting trend to observe for Agro Unicom is the rise of RFID, which enables warehouse managers to get real-time visibility of order fulfillment, allowing them to process goods more efficiently. Moreover, the RFID market is expected to reach $17.4 billion by 2026 at a CAGR of 10.2% from 2021 due to the increasing regulation and government initiatives, adding easiness of usage to the cost-effective solution.
Competitors are not sleeping and have access to the same trends that you have. Some of them already started to look at how they can leverage these. Therefore, we conducted an in-depth competitor analysis where our team decided to firstly look at the global industry, narrowing our search down to the competition within North Macedonia's neighboring countries, and finalize analyzing Agro Unicom's global competition. After analyzing the global competition, it can be noticed that the adoption and usage of robotics, AI, and machine learning systems are becoming the new norm. Upon that, while taking a closer look on a regional level, specifically in AJ and neighboring countries, we noticed that your competitors are already starting to adopt these practices. Finally, when we narrowed down the research to North Macedonia's market itself, we distinguish that this is not the case, and most companies are utilizing the same inventory management methods and are experiencing the same challenges as your company.
We want you to stay ahead of the competition while building a solid foundation for you to quickly grow by improving efficiency, decreasing costs lost on stock, and prepare your workforce for the future of inventory management. We recommend that you implement our solution in the order that they are presented. First, with people to get them on board, then on processes to demonstrate the efficacy of our proposed solution, and then technology to get the maximum benefit to efficiency possible. For the people-oriented aspect of our plan, we have a three-pronged approach. First, the warehouse workers themselves. They'll be retrained in security and trained in the processes and technology that we will implement. Furthermore, we will be leading a loss prevention program that will be based on the product loss of their individual warehouses, creating group incentives as opposed to individual bonuses to encourage employees to motivate their peers. Then, the front-end retail workers who interact with the customers. Their training will focus on omni-channel selling, which is selling through additional mediums such as online or by telephone, and technology usage to fully take advantage of the data collection utilized by their current operating system. In order to get them to take their training more seriously, they will receive incentives for their clients moving to online orders, in addition to upselling additional products and persuading customers to order products well in advance. Finally, the managers. Out of the 9 existing warehouses, there is currently 1 manager who has an exemplary loss prevention rate. That manager will receive bonus pay in conjunction with the increased responsibility of conducting loose training of specifically being shadowed by the other managers. All managers will receive additional training in security, how to use data optimally, and coaching their employees. The managers will also adopt an incentive program for efficiency and product loss prevention, encouraging them to take the new warehouse organization, processes, and technology seriously. In order to motivate all of the employees to accept and adopt these changes, we recommend an internal company rebranding initiative. Communicate with all workers that these changes are for the future growth of the company, that they will make their workload easier to complete, and that with growth, new leadership opportunities will open up. Emphasize your company's new commitment of hiring from within, but ensure not to promise your employees and managers anything that you won't be able to deliver. And now we go on to Lisa to discuss the processes recommendations.
Thank you, Greg. We suggest restructuring AgroUnicom's warehouse layout in order to enable the company to efficiently utilize the space that's provided and ultimately streamline workflow and create faster shipping times. After mapping out your warehouse layout with the information and pictures you have provided us, we developed a customized design suggestion for your company, a U-shaped warehouse design, as you can see here on the picture. As AgroUnicom's current layout already allocates the loading and unloading area as well as the shipping area on the same side of the warehouse, we decided, due to our SOW agreement of keeping the cost of the solution low, that the U design will be the most convenient design to be implemented. Thus, it is recommended to keep these areas next to each other and only carry out changes to the reception and storage layout. After the loading areas, we suggest putting the reception area where the unloaded products will be separated, sorted, and new labels attached before the products are placed in the appropriate place in storage. This reception area will provide enough room for all the items that will be received, as well as sufficient space for the labeling machines. The storage area would fill out the back end of the warehouse. Within this area, we recommend creating zones of certain products, especially for those that are selling the most. These will be kept near the shipping area. Upon that, we suggest the implementation of a picking area where the order preparation takes place. It is recommended to place this area next to the storage area. Doing this will reduce the amount of time looking for items. Upon that, we recommend employing a new warehouse picking strategy, the so-called zone batch wave picking. Each picker will be assigned to a zone and picks all SKUs for orders stocked in the assigned zones. So now let me hand over to my colleague Katerina, who will guide you further through the process of optimizing your warehouse.
To give you a brief overview, our RFID system consists of an RFID tag, which is located on an object and contains an identifying code, as well as an RFID reader for reading this identification. RFID tags are coupled with a GPS technology to provide seamless tracking. On the other hand, RFID readers track an item's location and send this information to your company's database. But let me put this into practice at AgroUnicon. In the following, we will walk you through the implementation process. The first step refers to the attachment of the RFID tags to inventory goods. Essentially, before an international imported good can be stored in your warehouse, a machine attaches the Macedonian label. And this is where we jump in and attach the RFID tags. By integrating this step into the existing process, we make sure that we don't make existing steps more complicated. Secondly, RFID portable readers come into place. At this stage, one of your staff members scans the item with a portable RFID reader, which in turn records every single item and its related location to AgroUnicon's database. In addition to our portable RFID readers, RFID readers that are installed at the warehouse shelves play a significant part in the implementation process. I know this may sound confusing and quite technological, but think about it this way. Once a worker stores an item into the shelf, the system follows up supply and stock information and lays down the location of goods in your data system. The information associated with the synchronization of checking location shelves complete the warehouse processing. So far, we have talked about how the RFID technology works inside the warehouse, but you probably ask yourself what is happening once an item leaves the warehouse. This leads us to the most exciting and important part of the technology. As soon as a picker collects an item from the storage, the installed RFID readers at the exit of the warehouse will instantly send a notification to your database and therefore allow real-time stock management. We know this was a little bit too much information technology-wise, but let me summarize everything in one sentence. Essentially, the RFID technology allows accurate and real-time tracking of items and therefore facilitates efficient inventory management.
So my colleagues Lisa and Katerina already touched upon your positive outcomes when implementing the RFID technology. However, when following all of our solutions, you will see more than just one positive outcome. The extent to which these outcomes are considered to be successful is determined by many KPIs, from which we will now touch one upon. The most important KPI to measure success is the order fulfillment time, which is expected to be decreased dramatically. As an example, the dead time that was mentioned earlier of productive working hours of manual labor is expected to be decreased by up to 100%. And after the successful implementations of our recommendations, we want to give you a little future outlook. And by looking at the future, we plan to implement AI in your warehouse system to make predictions about when to restock inventory. The AI system will automatically order these items to streamline the warehouse process. And again, when looking in the future, where you will be in 10 years, this will be the first step to go there. Well, we do understand that our recommendations might be a lot to take in, for which reason we just sent you a detailed report to give you all the time to go over our recommendations. And now we're confident that you have also some questions for us, for which we are perfectly prepared. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was very insightful, and you actually taught me a lot about our inventory management. I will be honest with you, when I agreed to take on a student team, I was not quite sure if you guys could understand the current market structures in Macedonia. I mean, you know, we are far away from the inventory management system more developed countries such as US, but you really adapted your solutions on our needs, and I really see a great potential here. I always heard a lot about certain trends and leading examples such as Amazon, but I have never imagined that we could pull similar or competitive here in Macedonia in an actually easy and realistic way. Honestly, I really like how you started off with the root causes that provided me a better insight of the issues and challenges that we are currently facing. I was never aware that there were so many things wrong and are inefficient in our inventory management, but simply maybe didn't have to face it, and we also didn't have a proper benchmark to compare it to. But the way that you presented these causes created an urge in myself, and I understand that these issues need to be now as soon as possible. Evidently, we don't want to stay behind, and we want to move in front of our competitors. Regarding the solution, I appreciate that you integrated a step for the people, for our employees. You actually really paid attention to our conversations. You showed consider and as well on our agreement that laying off workforce is absolutely not an option for us. The KPI that should be part of how we are currently evaluating our performance. Therefore, I'm actually really willing to take this project a step forward. Overall, I appreciate that you come up with a solution again, which implementation is, how can I say, reachable. Due to our SOW agreement and the constraints we have given you, such as no cutting of workforce, not to require huge investment, etc. I was initially quite skeptical that there is anything out there that you can fit in this. Not to repeat myself, I notably really appreciate the outlook that you gave me, starting with the basics and slowly moving to the in the space of automation. You honestly did a really great job, and I can't wait to pass this on to our CEO and see how we forward together. Thank you very much again. Now I noted during your presentation, I noted a few questions. So I will start. Question number one is that regarding the competitors analysis, you talked briefly, I'm assuming it was because of the time sensitive reasons. And I guys have example companies on which you regarding the regional and local competitors.
And first of all, thank you for the amazing feedback. We really appreciate and we really enjoyed working on this project with you. We really appreciate it, and your information combined with our practice, I think we have definitely come up with something that can have a lot of potential for your company. So now to answer your question, as my colleague Jan previously talked, to do our competitor analysis, we took sort of like wider into a more narrow approach. First, looking at the global, regional, and then the local competition. As you already mentioned that you're quite familiar with the systems that are being implemented at big companies such as Amazon, Ocado, and even Macy's nowadays. And when you think about it, these practices may be something that seems like out of a science fiction movie for a country such as North Macedonia. However, well, narrowing down our search into your regional competitors, we found out, for instance, that a company that's called Agromarket, that's operating currently in Serbia, and I also think in Croatia and other neighboring countries, we have actually found out that they're starting to adopt these practices. I think they started to implement this technology around 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, it's happening, and we definitely see an urgency and a trend here that we believe that it's also going to reach Macedonia in the near future. However, you should not be worried as well, because while we also were researching your direct competitors in the local market, we found out that companies such as Hemomac Pesticides or Agrochemia, which I'm sure you know very well, we found out that they're also not really utilizing any technological advancements, or still not following these trends. And they're actually utilizing similar practices as your company is. And therefore, we still see a strong potential for you to get ahead of this competition and thrive even further.
Question about the worst scenario.
Can you just repeat the question one more time, please? I think you just got cut off there.
Sorry. I have a question about the worst scenario really for AgroUnicom as a company.
You just got cut off again. Why don't you, sorry, could you maybe just try one more time? If it doesn't work, then maybe just send the question in the chat real quick if you know how to do it.
Question, what does it really mean for us?
I think you should probably, if it's okay with you, maybe write down in the chat because you're cutting out at the exact same sentence.
Really, again? Wait.
Yeah, we understand that there are a lot of technical difficulties now that everything has been shifted online.
Question: the scenario. What does for us? Did you get it?
Yes, thank you very much. Greg, who wants to take it on? I don't. Should I take it on? Okay. So regarding the worst case scenario, well, we, through our journey in our university, we've been doing many case studies about what happens with companies who neglect the importance for change, and especially looking at trends, and incorporating these trends. And we just wanted to highlight here, or we want to highlight here, that you should be advised that if Argo Unicom does not adapt to the changes and demands of the industries in today's world, not only in North Macedonia, but also a little bit globally, there is sufficient evidence that indicates, that your company may start following a downward spiral from which will be more difficult to get out of it with time. And again, your competitors, as I've been mentioning earlier, your competitors are not sleeping, and they have the access to the same trends, right? And some of them already started implementing, similar practices. Yeah. So what we really want to do here is we want to bring you on the forefront of these competitors, bring you the forefront of inventory management systems, and really help you to not get on this spiral of downwards.
Thank you. So what do you? This is my last, or I will have one more question. What do you want to do tomorrow to start this strategy?
Awesome. So tomorrow, what you need to do is really to get everyone's buy-in from the top all the way to the bottom. Make sure that you communicate the scope of these changes that you want to implement, what it means for everybody, the benefits that everyone will receive from these changes. And you just want to make sure that everyone's on board. If you get everyone on board, all the other steps will go much smoother.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more last question. What would be the implementation of a long-term strategy for us to implement?
So I can take it on. I think if I understood the question correctly, in the long term, we're proposing you to implement the AI system, right? This is, again, the long-term strategy. For now, you should be focused on the three pillars that we mentioned. This is due to several reasons. I mean, first of all, also, am I cutting?
I don't hear you well. Something is. Can you start again? Something is wrong with the network.
I'll go over it. I'll go over it again.
Let me.
So if I, yeah,
oh
don't
yeah,
worry.
thank you.
No, it's better. So if I understood you correctly, you're looking at the long-term strategy here. So what we're proposing is the AI technology that you're going to implement this in the long term.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
For short-term to mid-term, we focus on the three pillars, right? Because they are relatively easy and realistic, most realistic to implement. And these build the foundation for you to be more automated in the future. This, built on several different issues here. So first of all, we cannot just come with an AI system into your company and just say, hey, this is the automation system, work with it, right? So first of all, as Greg had explained it earlier, first of all, employees, you need to make sure that these employees work alongside the technologies and be not excluded from the technology as well. So implications of the AI technology will then be you will be quicker in inventory management overall. You'll be quicker in fulfillment processes, and you have the chance to re-educate and relocate employees to more manual, labor intensive work. So this is, I would say, in a nutshell, the implication of an AI long-term strategy for you, for AgriUnicom. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much. That was the last question, guys. Thank you again for everything. I really enjoyed working with you on this, and I really can't wait to see the results.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your cooperation, and thank you for taking on as a client.
Not an issue.
Thank you very much. Have a look at the report. We, as we mentioned, we just sent you the report. If you have any questions, please come back to us. We'll be, at your disposal whenever you need us.
I'm sure that you would like to be with us along the process.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.